Hi, how are y'all doing? So I only got these two trades today, but yeah. So lately it's been feeling a little bit slower. Um, Last few days, the days have just felt like there haven't been as many entries. But today was like clearly there was a lot less movement than you know the other days this week and last week. So yeah, there was FOMC stuff today. Maybe that had something to do with it. Sometimes whenever I see that there's FOMC stuff, a lot of times I think, oh, it's probably going to be a slower day, and then sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. I don't really know if that has anything to do with it, but I've I used to always think it what would, and then I don't know. Sometimes it's really fast on FOM. I don't know anything about it. So anyway, um, I'm gonna move this out of the way. So when I was started trading in this chop right here around 8:30, um, here's what I saw. So we have these overnight highs here, these overnight lows. We're clearly in this range for the day, this daily range, or the overnight range, I mean. And we also started forming this smaller range right here. Clearly we have support. It breaks out, it failed, and then I started in here. So I got this trade pretty fast after starting. And one thing that was negative about the trade was this bearish imbalance in this smaller range right here, because we had a bounce here, then a second bounce, third bounce, all lower highs. But the reason that I'm okay with taking this trade, even for 1 to 2, while we have a bearish imbalance, is because we also have a bullish imbalance for this larger range, so the overnight range. We bounced early once, and now we have a second leg down, so that's basically like a downtrend break, new low, midway through this overnight range. So I was totally okay with buying, because the bullish imbalance on this larger range is going to be a lot stronger than the bearish imbalance on this range, which is like 1/4 of the size. So, you know, that's just something to think about. I'm not going to bet, like, I'm going to bet on, retesting the highs of this larger range and fading this range after we have two legs back, rather than betting on it breaking out of this smaller range. So that's really what I'm thinking here. So anyway, we push higher, we go into this uptrend. We have a break, first attempt higher, second attempt higher, and I was looking to take something here, but and you ended up not being able to take anything, because how I wanted to enter was, once this bullish bar gets a tick higher, drop a limit order, but of course I couldn't get filled, so it just took off. But either way, that's definitely a good area. It's a good context area, but you don't quite get a good setup. I mean, if you could have gotten in with a limit order, that would have been great, but it didn't come back to fill me. So there's really, the context is good, but there's not really an entry. So anyway, we push out of that. We go into this uptrend right here. We quickly form a range after breaking out of the overnight highs, which, what did I do? Oh, there we go. So then I get this uptrend right here, which I'm going to talk about it more in a sec. But so I saw that we had this uptrend forming. We were in this range right here, and this takes me to my next trade. We retrace to the EMA here. We get this second entry. I mean, it's just choppy. You could have had the range at that point. You would have had no room to go for a good risk to reward before the highs. So I just wanted to skip that. But finally, I'm going to move this range out of the way here too. So clearly, we have two legs down off this key entry point. We have this range forming. I mean, this uptrend forming, sorry. So I thought it was a pretty decent looking trade just to test the highs. But I'm going to sneeze. Hold. So yeah, we have two legs down, and also how I drew it, it closed, it closed out of the short-term trend line there, because I waited for this bar right here, and then it ticked higher, and I got in. But anyway, so I didn't enter directly off of this bearish bar closing into this short-term trend line. I just want that to be clear, which I think I drew it off that, and then I did a tiny cut, and then it closed out a little bit. But basically, that's what I was thinking here. It's the third bounce, basically, because clearly you can see it holding, but it breaks out, fate, and then I ended up just riding it to the other side. But yeah, I did not go for 1 to 2 on this. If I had went for 1 to 2, it would have had to go so far out. I wasn't comfortable with it, riding it that high, so I ended up going for 1 to 1.5 risk to reward. So it still had to push out a little bit, but I didn't really want to go for less than 1 to 1.5. So, that's what I was thinking there. We push up. Whoops. There we go. All right, so we push up. We go into this uptrend here. We start to form this range. I was really wanting to take something here, because here's the thing. I see that we have 2 legs up, so I should be cautious of buying. But if you draw this right here, you have this leg. Or sorry, I drew that. I didn't mean to draw it like that. This leg, I was kind of thinking of it as this leg up, and then you can look for another leg up here. So leg up, break, another leg up. And we still had room to reach it, so I was thinking, okay, if it holds off the EMA and you get a good breakout of this range, then it looks good to me. But I end up not getting an entry that closes out, so it closes out of this short-term downtrend. So I just really didn't want to take that. But then we break out, pull back, we push lower, and then you get this 2-legged move, which clearly people do try to buy off of it, but that's just in the middle of nowhere. We push lower. Now we have these 2 legs down here. So leg down, break, second leg down. It's almost to the tick, but and then as soon as it has that 2-legged move down, it reverses back up. You get first entry short, second entry short, failure. That's not a reversal pattern I would want to take. I mean, really it bounces off of nothing, and then you get a super choppy failed second entry. It just doesn't really look like a, it just looks choppy, and it's coming off of nothing, so there's really no reason that I would think to go for a decent target. So, maybe it's high probability for a scalp, I don't even know, but, I did not want to take that for a 1 to 2 target. So anyway, then we have the leg down, break, second leg down here, which if you look at that, it actually forms a larger leg down. So now you have this leg down, break, and then this second leg down. And then here, the channel actually broke, but that was before it even got 3 swings. So I don't even think this channel is valid necessarily. There's could be a couple ways to draw it, kind of make it fit, but if you draw it off these bodies, it's you can kind of get it to fit more, but I think I might just leave it. I'm just gonna leave it how I had it, but anyway, so we break. There's no way that you can enter there. It's really off of nothing. It's not off the key entry point. This key entry point broke before even holding a third time, so I don't think there's any good long here. We do push higher though, and then you get another second entry long, which is just as much in the middle of nowhere as this one, so I can't just take that trade. And then I would be willing to take a failed second entry had it set up good, but it didn't set up good here. But then we get this higher low, and I didn't like it. And it's not just because it didn't close above the EMA, it's because it completely rejected the EMA. So if it's not in a good context area and it's rejecting the EMA, there's just no way I'm going to take that. But finally, we push higher. We go into this uptrend. We have a break. We can expect prices to make a new high. It's a failed second entry, first entry short, second entry short, expecting it to fail. It's with the bias. So I think that is a good context area, but there's no way that you can get your order filled, your entry order filled, because you'd have to put it, you'd have to use a limit order back, and you would never get filled on it, clearly. So yeah, but I do want to just be totally honest here. When I was seeing this real time, I didn't try to take it because I was kind of still worried about this, this action down here. I was kind of just, I kind of wish I had at least tried to enter on it, but I did skip it. I ended up marking it because, clearly it's a good looking area, and I wish I at least tried to enter on it. So anyway, then we push up, we have a break, and now we have this first attempt higher, and then this second attempt higher clearly worked right here. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then also, I drew this range, and so we have this breakout pullback at that same time from what I just mentioned. Um, yeah. It really it doesn't. The only thing that I don't really like about it is that this uptrend does have a break and a new high, and if you draw it slightly differently, then you can get it to fit better, and then it has three confirms and then a break and a new high anyway. And so it's like if it has a break and a new high, and then it rushes below the EMA, like you could easily fade this range down here. So I don't think that this is the best long to take. So that's just kind of what I'm thinking for that. But it's not. I mean, it's not horrible. I mean, you can still look at it as a breakout pullback. I would just be worried of it trapping down, considering the context. And I do understand there's a bullish bias here, like heavy bullish bias all day. And so, you know, maybe I was a little too worried than I should have been, but I was just a little bit scared of a trap down, fading this range, considering the uptrend played out. So anyway, it's not a horrible looking entry if you did buy, because you do have the argument of the heavy bullish bias. But anyway, so we go into this now. We have a break, and that's really it for the day. So let's see, how long is this review? This review is only 11 minutes. So yeah, today was really just a slower day. I mean, not as much stuff happened, but yeah, anyway. Um yeah, I guess that's going to do it for the video, and I'll see y'all next time.